status, but still even them starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge you because it makes a living from writing raps. Put it together.
What's up, everybody? Press Box Insider, JD and the Pro.
Mile High Sports.
13:40 a.m. Ready to rock it till 10 p.m. Lot to talk about tonight. Lot to talk about. I don't know where you want to start. I mean, the obvious thing is to start with the fight that happened today, which is funny because we broke this scenario down last night on the show. Pretty much this exact scenario. And then it happens today.
And it was a quarterback, JD.
It was.
Another quarterback.
I mean, not a good one, but a quarterback.
It wasn't quite in Cam's league, but.
No. I mean, and regardless of the quality of said player, this is still, at the moment, your starting quarterback. So, I don't know. Before I start ranting and raving, Gary, what are your thoughts? What do you think of this?
Well, you know, I heard the story driving in tonight, JD, and apparently the released dude, the guy that broke
IK Eminem, however
we'll just call him IK.
I call him the released dude. He's out. Fired immediately.
I call him the future Buffalo Bill. That's what I call him.
Yeah. Rex Ryan, I guess he was good enough to play for Rex Ryan, so Rex will bring him back to Buffalo, but it more than likely. But I mean, really, he had a camp that Geno was supposed to come to, paid for plane tickets. I guess everybody's well rehearsed on this story already, but
and the limo ride. The limo ride is very important. You got to include the limo ride, not only the plane ticket.
Yeah, see, I didn't hear about this limo ride.
So the limo to pick him up from the airport and take him either to the hotel or to the camp, wherever his destination was. But yes, there's
the limo was expensive.
Yes.
Well, you know,
I can't see it being that much. I mean, even if it was a super stretch pimp daddy limo, it could have only been like $150. I mean, come on,
guys. I mean, it's money, and I guess IK needed the money, right?
Well,
Geno is hanging on to the dough, but I know his friend passed, and that was his reason for not attending the camp. Correct.
Correct. Well, here's the thing. And again, what I said last night, I included money as one of the things that when it comes amongst teammates, you don't talk about it, you don't lend it, you don't do anything involved with money. So here's the thing. He's a 6th round draft pick. All right. It's not like he's making a ton of money. He makes, probably 4 or 5 times what I make, but as far as football standards go, he's not making a ton of money. Geno is making a ton of money. It shouldn't have been a big issue for Geno to open up his wallet and shell out 6 $100 bills. However, that's not how it played out. But to go up and, I don't know, from what it has been being portrayed as, this dude just walked up and cheap shot at him. To do that under any circumstance is not okay.
True. And my first inclination was, Geno, just crack off a couple grand, give it to the kid, and just say, man, I'm sorry I couldn't make your camp. I would have done that, prior to him even saying, dude, man, hit me back with that cash. You didn't make it. But, there's more to this story, JD. For him just to go and cold cock him, there was a little bit of inside squabbling there. And, if Geno is our former Carmelo, because I don't know if you remember years ago, Carmelo was here. He was 19. I was coaching Buzz Dillick at golf. And all I heard is on Sports Talk Radio, they just did a nice little feature, call-ins, worst tipper on the planet in Denver. Come on. Who is it? Oh, it's Carmelo. I mean, he'd bring a posse in of 15 and a swank place and have a bill for $2,000, and they'd comp him, and he'd leave $0 for a wait staff that ended up being like 8 people waiting on him hand and foot. And then another caller, and then another caller. Same way. One time, though, he did leave $5. And I'm like, holy smokes, he's Tiger Woods, right? They don't know anything about this. What's going on with the money thing? And I told Buzz that when I coached him a little bit later in the day, and he's like, Gary, what? Is this public? Yeah, it's public. It was on the radio. He's like, I got to talk to him. Well, pay the cash. Do it. It's not a big deal, Gino.
You know, I think Gino should have addressed this. If that was the case, if it's based off this camp that he was supposed to go to, allegedly, he should have addressed that long beforehand. Now, I can't say I'm a conspiracist, because I'm not. I'm just an investigator by nature. That's what I do in my day job. It's just who I am. And, you know, the things that have been reported for me, money-wise, just don't add up. All right, so he's paying for his flight and this alleged limo ride. He's not paying for the hotel? I mean, because he wasn't just coming in, doing the camp, and leaving, you know, so he wasn't paying for his hotel. Gino was on his own for that, you know, because if that's the case, then maybe it's a wash, you know, and he shouldn't have to pay $600. Because if he is paying for his hotel, the limo ride, airfare, it's going to be more than $600. I travel. I know how much this stuff costs. It's just not happening. So I agree with you, Gary. I think there's more to this story. I think there's the truth to the story somewhere in the locker room, and I think this is kind of what they've been told to go ahead and release to us media people to get us jibber jabbering about this nonsense. But again, if you just do the math, people, I mean, go look up how much it costs right now on any airline to fly, you know, from Geno Smith's home in New York to Texas. And you're going to see that it doesn't add up. That's all I'm saying.
Do you guys get a sense that Geno Smith was not afraid of IK at all? It feels like he, you know, was getting a little bit too big for his britches as far as Geno Smith is concerned. It didn't seem like anything scared him that IK would do.
Who knows?
Well, you know, here's the thing. There's one person with a broken jaw. And so, I mean, I don't know. I've been in fights, and anytime I thought I could win, no matter how bad I was beat up, I continued going. It was when I thought that I could no longer win that I stopped. So, I don't know. Food for thought. We'll get to more of this on the other side of the break. You're listening to JD and the Pro.
Mile High Sports.
1340 AM. We're back, folks. All right, JD and the Pro, Josh Davis, Gary Woodside, the man producing the show. Not an intern, but a full-on pimp daddy producer.
My mom will appreciate that, Josh. Thank you.
Hey,
And Kyle's mom, this is Gary. I apologize. I called him an intern. I think it was because he didn't have my mic on. Start my first
If
solo
you saw
show.
where you were sitting, you would understand why I thought you were on mic too. We'll get to that later.
No.
Yeah. Oh my God. But no, the three of us rocking it. We got another hour and 40 minutes or so. Anything you want to talk about? 303-831-1340. 303-831-1340. You can tweet at the show at PBI on air. Me directly at Josh Davis MMA, obviously. Or I'm sorry, at Josh Davis Sports. Obviously, you can do at the MMA Corner. And then Kyle.
At K Bury Your Head.
K Bury Your Head. I'm going to have to get on that one. And as we all know, Gary is at I Don't Tweet. So, feel free, follow them all, hit up the show, whatever you guys want to talk about. But before the break, Kyle had asked a good question. You know, do I think that Gino was afraid of IK and
or not afraid? Almost like, you know,
I agree with you. I don't think he thought that IK could do anything. He's just a little sixth round.
I'm the starting quarterback, and who are you?
Yeah, and, you know, to be real honest, Gino's probably thinking, you know what, if we just get through training camp, this dude's not even going to be on the team, and off you go, you scrub. And maybe IK knew that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I guarantee you IK has the same line of thinking and says, look, bro, it's not always like that. And he didn't care what kind of repercussions came from that.
Well, unless the guy is just a flat out idiot, he had to know that his job with the Jets was on the line, but maybe he already knew he wasn't making the team.
Maybe he wanted to go to Buffalo.
Maybe.
He didn't appreciate not getting paid.
Well, he's not going to get paid at Buffalo either.
No, I'm talking about Gino.
And Josh, have you ever been so mad that you honestly just don't think, like,
oh yes,
you clearly, you know, think things all the way through? Maybe, you know, he didn't sit down and think about what he was going to do before he punched him.
Oh yes.
Really? Does that happen with these NFL guys ever?
Yeah. No, that's just, to be honest, that's human beings. That's why we have half the prison population that we do, is because on one particular occasion they got so mad that they didn't think.
Is that called snapped?
Snapped.
It's rage.
It is.
Oh, goodness.
It is.
I don't appreciate it.
No. Now, golf will do that to you.
Oh.
Football will do that to you. You know, anytime you have any kind of athletic competition, oh my God, I will be honest, you know, I have seen cats literally try and kill each other over a video game. You know, one dude continually beats on the other dude. They talk trash the whole time, and next thing you know, someone's getting ear-holed, and yeah, absolutely. That's human. I think that's the competitive nature of human beings. And, you know, again, we are animals instinctively. You know, society is what tells us that we can't do these things. Think about your kids, Gary. You have a few of them. You know, I have my own kid. When they're little, the first thing they want to do is swat, hit, kick, whatever. We have to tell them not to do that. Instinctively, that's what we want to do.
Well, hopefully we learn correctly. We got to break the chain of violence. I mean, can we learn correctly? But when we don't break the chain, and you see it every day, JD, in the families where they're a little dysfunctional, and maybe they didn't learn that way, and they just let them roll.
Yeah.
They're going wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's when bad things happen. They start hanging out, doing the wrong things. Then maybe they beat their kids with a stick or something because they got beat with a stick.
Yeah, maybe
But,
they go Adrian Peterson. Who
Come
knows?
on, man. And, you know, the violence, the abuse. I don't care if it's verbal or physical. Wow.
It's got to stop.
Golly, stop
That's why
it.
I have a day job, so I can put a stop to it.
Yeah, you're working
know?
hard at it. I know that.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of it out there.
Never ending, it seems.
No, and again, when you have people that are supposed to be role models, i.e. professional athletes, or I guess not professional actors, celebrities is what we will call them. Other professional media people, Jay Mariani for one, who, we all know what he did. But anyways, we got to get rid of it. And I don't know, maybe I don't think anyone should pick this guy up, but they will. And I said I do think that the Bills probably will, but maybe the Cowboys will. Maybe they'll take the pictures, because I'm sure someone took a picture of it on their cell phone, got this whole thing. I'm sure the Cowboys will take some of that and throw it on their website. That's how they roll.
Yeah, they like Hardy a lot.
Well, yeah.
Hardy's a good guy, I heard.
Josh, Gary, did you guys hear that the Browns were looking at Ray Rice today as well?
Well, I'm not surprised. The Browns like washed up, wife-beaten NFLers. That's what they do. It doesn't matter if you kill someone in vehicular homicide. They'll sign you, Dante Stallworth. It's just whatever. If you might help win football games, unfortunately, there's very little that you can do to get yanked from the league. I mean, look at Ray Rice. Yes, he was acquitted. All three of them somehow were acquitted, but yet there were still 2 men dead, murdered, but no one was. Anyways, it's crazy as long as you can win football games. And so, to Kyle's point, again, being one of the best producers out there, no, I did not know that until you just told me.
You don't have to do that, by the way,
But
Josh.
again, I just call it like I see it. But again, there's I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. It does not surprise me that they would be looking at Ray Rice. They can use all the help they can get. It's not like they're winning a lot of ball games this year.
Now, hopefully somebody will pick him up. I still think he deserves a second chance. I heard his interview the other day with
Garbage
with Jamel Hill, and I know you said that, and
said what, huh?
Listen,
Bless
you
you?
go through it every day, and I get it, and I don't appreciate abuse more than anyone. Trust me, it's just there's no place for it. But wow, I mean, the guy's got to move on, live his life. Is that it for him? Does that mean no chance? Go ahead and roll back. No, JD, to Hardy. I mean, look what he did. If that was on video, he'd be in prison. He'd never play in the NFL again.
Here's what I have to say is no, I don't think any of them should get a second chance. Again, the field, my day job, and I can't say it on there because I would get fired. But in the specific field that I work in, if I go home and beat up my wife and get a domestic violence charge, regardless of what she says after the fact,
that's it for you.
That's it. I am never working in this field again, not only in the state of Colorado, but anywhere in the country.
I believe it.
I would literally have to go to another country that has similar beliefs that we do about abuse, and hopefully they would have a job for me. But I could not do what I do. And so why do celebrities, why do professional athletes get a pass? Again, a teacher. We were talking about, teachers and whatnot before we came in here. If a teacher does that, they're losing their teaching licenses. They're done. Why do these guys get a pass?
That's your opinion. I just say that, when she went in, made a point with Goodell, that
when
was
she went in and lied, yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's all about money. She wanted to survive it and just get the counseling. They got married afterward. Come on, let's go ahead and let it roll. They're together. They're doing well. It's not the end of the world for them. Let's go ahead and let them live their lives.
Yeah,
right?
let's let it roll to this break. We'll get to it on the other side.
I'm home. Yeah. They always ask me, Ali, what you so angry for, man? Why you always so upset? I tell them, it's
ride a unicycle down the middle. You might catch me touching feet down on both sides. Ever since day number one, it's just me and where I'm coming from. Rites of passage and shadows on the sun. My people,
And we're
I
back.
stand before you as a man with voice.
Press Box Insider, JD and the Pro, Mile High Sports, 1340 AM. 303-831-1340, 303-831-1340. Give us a call, give us your thoughts. Hit up the show on Twitter, at PBI On Air, at Josh Davis Sports,
And at K Bury Your Head.
K Bury Your Head.
And I don't Twitter.
I don't tweet.
That's G Woodside. Go ahead.
I don't tweet.
Hit me there.
At I don't tweet.
I'll respond immediately.
Yeah, he's all over it. He's got it up right now. He's ready to go. So we've been talking fighting, second chances, so on and so forth, which is a great segue into the next one, which is another sport that does care and doesn't care about women beating, and that's combat sports. Ronda Rousey says that she can beat Floyd Mayweather in the no rules fight. Now, we all know Floyd likes to beat women. In fact, I think Floyd did 30 days or something like that for beating women. You know, he's good at it. He's a proven pro.
Well, he's undefeated, is my understanding.
Exactly. And again, he'll tell you about it. He takes on all comers, men,
He's the greatest
women.
ever was.
Yep. Men,
According to-
women.
They would ask Floyd Mayweather who won those fights, but it would have to go to the card.
Yeah, it would be a split decision, I think.
Now, there we go, you know, to the judge or judges. But he does. He takes on all comers, men, women, children. For Floyd, it doesn't matter. If you want to fight. So, why is he dodging Ronda? Is this like the Pacquiao thing? Is he just waiting to build up the pay-per-view buys? What's the deal here?
Well, he apparently does that in private. He doesn't do it for pay-per-view.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
That's right.
not yet.
he
Not
likes-
yet. But, you know, I think if she riles him up enough, maybe she can get him in the ring and do a no holes barred. You know, no
Well-
rules. Just go ahead and go for it.
And it's the reason why I bring up the no rules is because we know Ronda's a wrestling fan. And so are we talking true like no rules, hitting someone with a chair and a trash
And
can?
who goes up in weight and who goes down in weight for
You
this
know?
fight.
Well, if
she
there's no
outweighs him.
rules, I think it's an open weight class. I think they just show up and get it on.
Well, they're pretty similar weights anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Are they?
They are.
She's a big girl.
Um,
And
You know-
and you know, in an MMA, JD, I'll just get this out there. I think she'd roll him. She'd get that. She'd take him down. She would judo chop him once she got her hands on him. Yeah. Boxing match, obviously, no contest.
No contest. All right, let's be honest. We're comparing apples and oranges here. If we're doing straight boxing, first off, no disrespect, but I don't know that Ronda's face could hold up to 150 Floyd Mayweather jabs and then another 300 rest of his shots that he's going to land throughout, let's say, a 10, 12, 15 round fight. I mean, let's just be honest.
And we know it would go the distance because it is
Yeah,
Mayweather.
it's Floyd. It's Floyd. You know, even his wife said he doesn't know how to finish.
Oh, God. Okay, JD.
She did. I'm just saying. You know. Now, if we're talking MMA, Ronda destroys him, kills him. Because here's why. You know, she runs in and he's backpedaling. As soon as she grabs him, or as soon as he clinches up, because he loves to hug. We know he's a hugger.
Especially women.
Especially women. So as soon as he clinches up, that's it. She's going to throw him to the ground, and it's going to be an armbar. I mean, her judo is awesome. Her jujitsu is slick. She trains with the Diaz brothers, who have some of the world's finest jujitsu. No, in an MMA fight, she'd kill him. Now, again, if we're talking no rules, and I'm serious, hitting people with, if we're talking like a street fight, just a flat out street fight, no gloves, nothing like that, it would be interesting because, again, Floyd's going to run.
And if they stand up with gloves, Josh, do you think she's fast enough to hit him? Can she get some shots in?
No. Well, I mean, she can get some shots in, but can she get the shot that she needs to?
He's quick.
Hey, if you know Pacquiao can't hit him, I don't know how Ronda's going to hit him.
Yeah, I love Ronda, but let's be realistic. Yeah, she might. I mean, she might put her glove to his body at some point in time, but no, she's not going to hit him. She's not. If we're talking boxing, he's going to light her up. In the street, though, that would be interesting because there's no gloves, and so again, if he connects bare knuckle, oh my God! I mean, you break someone's eye socket, their orbital, a nose, so on and so forth. It's completely different. But he's going to be running. You know, he's going to be backpedaling on the street. So let's say, you know, he steps on a rock and slips, and she's able to just automatically jump on him while he's trying to get up. Again, that's going to be an armbar, and there's no tapping, so she's going to break it. Now, the fight would probably continue, but now Floyd's down to one arm.
We're getting real hypothetical now, aren't we?
We are.
With the rock and all that.
I mean, just a possibility. But again, he could just bare knuckle beat her up. But it's interesting. However,
do you think the fight would last longer than her last three have?
Well, I will say this. It would probably last a little longer, but, you know, Ronda likes to finish. She's just one of those women that likes to finish.
She's pretty aggressive, too, I noticed.
She is. She's brutal. I think, again, if we're talking MMA versus boxing and an MMA fight, I think MMA fighters are going to win that majority of the time. Again, look at James Toney and Randy Couture. There are so many different aspects of MMA that there aren't in boxing. All you do in boxing is punch and hug, punch and hug, punch and hug. Well, in MMA, when you hug, someone's taking you to the ground and continuing to punch you.
And Josh, with Rousey's aggressiveness, how much of that is from coaching and how much of that is pure attitude?
Pure attitude. Pure attitude.
So it's not like they researched Betch Correa and said, okay, your best chance to beat her will be to be aggressive early, or was there a little bit of that and mostly just Ronda?
No, that was all Ronda. In fact, if they would have done research on her and watched, they'd have said, hey, you know, chill out, let her do her stupid stuff and then capitalize. But no, that's not who Ronda is. If you read her book or know anything about this girl, just listen to her talk about her life growing up. Her mom literally would wake her up. I mean, she'd be sleeping, little girl, you know, 3-4 years old sleeping, and mom would jump in her bed and armbar her.
Oh, she learned very young.
Oh yeah. I mean,
no wonder she's so good at it.
Exactly. No, she has been trained, you know, and just her whole life growing up, she has been conditioned to be an aggressive athlete. She was very aggressive in the Olympics. The fact that she only won the bronze medal, talk to her, ask her about it. She is still pissed about that. She wants that time back immediately. She wants revenge, whatever you want to call it. The girl is vicious. She is aggressive. That is just who she is. And again, MMA, she's going to tear Floyd's head off. Any MMA fighter in an MMA fight is going to whoop a boxer. Most boxers are going to whoop MMA fighters when it comes to boxing because it's completely different. It is completely different. There are very few jabs in MMA. Very few MMA fighters know how to throw a jab. Striking in MMA is completely different than boxing because, again, the way boxing is, you set yourself up for takedowns all the time. And so you have to adjust yourself when striking in MMA when you have to defend takedowns. So everything is different. And we're talking apples and oranges.
Josh, who in the MMA that you can think of right now is probably the best boxer that you can think of? Just stand up boxer.
Anderson Silva's boxing would have been excellent. Him and Roy Jones Jr. were supposed to fight. It didn't happen. Nick Diaz has often said he wants to box. I think he would be excellent at it. And then we've had a lot of boxers come over to MMA, and especially when you talk about European boxers, they transition over to MMA a lot. So the striking is definitely a big component, but unfortunately there's so many other dynamics that make it hard for guys who are purely boxers to come into MMA and be successful. Just like I think Nick Diaz might win a fight or two, but he's not a champion. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll get into hour number 2 next. PressBox Insider.
Mile High Sports.
This is
That's right. That's how we do it in the press box, yo. JD in the Pro.
Mile High Sports.
13:40 a.m. Straight pimping for what, another 40 minutes. All right. So we're talking Broncos football. Now, you're calling a couple of things here. You're calling the Packers and the Broncos in the Super Bowl. That would be a repeat of November 1st, week 8. Interesting.
And our first Super Bowl victory there, or in 97.
So,
how about that? I like it.
So we're just again playing Broncos trivia right now. And a very important part of the Kubiak offense is the offensive line. These guys have got to be able to get the zone blocking done. So, Gary, Kool-Aid drinker.
Delicious. It's orange.
Yum, yum.
Spiked.
Yum, yum.
Yummy.
Yum, yum. I'm going to come in with a case of orange Kool-Aid just for you.
Appreciate it.
And then we're gonna dump it. We're gonna dump it on you if Denver beats Seattle in preseason week 1.
I keep waiting for the guy to come bashing through the wall over here.
Oh yeah,
exactly. All right, Ben Garland. Who is Ben Garland? For a steak dinner. Who is Ben Garland?
Oh, he is an offensive lineman.
What position?
He is left tackle.
Ooh, close. Close. You had the left side right.
He's a left guard.
He's a left guard. There you go.
Excuse me.
Great guy as well.
Yeah, he sucks at football, is my
No,
understanding.
he doesn't. He doesn't.
I think he's going to be just fine.
He's our backup guard. He's our back. He backs up Max Garcia. And here's the thing. Just a little stat. Less than 1% of all college athletes turn pro. And out of the people that do turn pro, less than 1% actually make it as a professional athlete. So if you're in any training camp anywhere in the NFL, you can play ball at some kind of level. I mean, you're a player. So there's no doubt that Ben Garland's a player. And don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, is he the left guard that's going to lead us to a Super Bowl? And Shelley Smith, backup right guard. So all I'm saying is I have so many questions about the Broncos until they go out and prove me wrong. I'm gonna call out the questions I have. You know, back before the Seahawks were good, which, you know, wasn't so long ago, I used to blast them on air all the time, talk about how bad they suck, so on and so forth. I would call them out, and I just have so many questions about the Broncos, and I want to see real victories. Now, we have a tough opening part of the schedule, all right? We're home versus the Ravens, then we're at Kansas City, at Detroit, home for the Vikings, which is my trap game. Then we're at Oakland, at Cleveland. No, the Raiders aren't world beaters. No, the Browns aren't world beaters. But in our first 6 games, we have 4 road games. That's a lot of traveling. Makes those games tougher. It's not an easy schedule. If we were to go out and rock that 6-0, even 5-1.
And Gary, how much of Peyton Manning's game calms those questions that Josh has about our offensive line and the way he operates and gets the ball out of his hands so quickly?
And C.J. Anderson to throw that in there.
This
CJ
is
as
the
well.
thing. That's where I'm going with this. I think C.J. can make that offensive line look amazing. You know, as they gel, they just open a little bit of room for him.
Again,
He's going to
Gary,
roll.
you keep forgetting he's tearing his ACL first game against the Ravens. He's done for the season.
He's
Let's-
healthy all year. You
let's
know
say-
what? He is,
Get him out of your mind. He's not even going to finish the year with the Broncos.
CJ's making the Pro Bowl, by the way. I'll put that out there.
Well, that doesn't mean anything these days,
Well,
but
you know, I think it does. You know,
No,
it's still
Denver has a
important.
pretty big voting population here. You
Well-
know? we can vote in our guys.
He might just go ahead and do better than that and make the All-Pro
Oh.
team.
so let's take CJ out of the equation and look at Ronnie Hillman trying to make the team. Does that help his case getting Ronnie Hillman into space and seeing what he can do if you don't have the offensive line that can
Well, sure,
that can
it's-
block for a straight
You
ahead
know,
runner?
it's a scheme, but I think these guys can learn to block very quickly. I mean, I really do. I think they'll gel the next 4 games. They're getting coached up right now, and they're learning to work as a unit. You
Yeah,
know,
did Gary Zimmerman come out of retirement? Do we got Gibbs coaching them? Is that what's up?
It's not like what we need. And you asked a question, Kyle, about Manning.
Yeah.
Yeah. He releases it pretty quick. And then when you got a running back moving it like that, and you're ground and pound, you think he's got a little more time for that quick release?
Josh, is this
I'm not
offense
too worried about it.
is this offense going to be a lot different than the offense we've seen for the past 3 years?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be a much slower paced offense, but it's also going to be a lot different than what we saw with John Elway and Terrell Davis. For the simple fact that we're missing one key ingredient to that specific offense. Now, I'm not talking offensive line. You know what? I'll give you that. I'll say all the offensive linemen, they're equal. Okay, we'll just call them equals. I'll say C.J. Anderson is equal to Terrell Davis. Peyton Manning equal to John Elway. Wide receivers, okay, DT and Emmanuel Sanders equal to McCaffrey and Rod Smith. Where we're not equal, where's our Shannon Sharp? Where's our tight end threat? Which is such a key piece of this offense. Owen Daniels, I got to be honest, he's his best days are done. He is on the end of his career. He's not the guy. No offense, Owen. I love you. I've had you on my fantasy teams numerous years, but you don't have it anymore. Virgil Green, let's be real. Dominic Jones, who? Marcel Jensen, who? Jeff Howerman, who?
Oh, you're underrating our tight ends.
I'm a what?
JD.
I'm doing what?
There's a reason Kubiak brought Daniels in from
Because he knows the system.
Baltimore.
Because he knows the
and
system.
he can play. And are you kidding me about Virgil Green? I mean, he looks to bust people up in blocks.
And that's
you know
what he'll
He
need
can't
to
catch
do.
the
But
ball.
here's the thing. When we are bringing in, when we're shuffling tight ends, it tips our hands. You know, when you can watch tape and see that Virgil Green is only in 80% of rundowns, And you know that when Virgil's coming in, 80% of the time they're running the ball. You know, we can't have that. With Shannon, even though he was a horrible blocker, he could still make some crackbacks. He could still get on people's nerves. He could still get them out of their game. He could do things enough to get the job done. Ask Derek Thomas, God rest his soul. We don't have that. And again, if all things were created equal, which I don't think they are, but let's say they were, we're still missing that key piece of the offense. And everyone who runs this version of the West Coast offense, they're not winning Super Bowls without solid tight ends. Favre wasn't winning his Super Bowls without solid tight ends. He had Keith Jackson and Mark Chmura. They were outstanding at the time. People that run this offense need the solid tight end.
Well, I still like our lineup.
But that's
at
Owen
tight end.
Daniels, right?
It's Owen, it's Virgil
That's
Green.
OD.
You platoon those two guys right there, and you're
Could-
pretty solid.
Could
I
that
like
have,
it.
Could that have been Julius Thomas this year?
Glad he's gone.
Could have been.
Glad he's gone.
Could have been.
He don't
but
block. He don't know how to block.
Way too
He's a
much
basketball player.
money. Injury prone. But he could have been the guy.
He gave John a little grief, and you know how I feel about John. You don't do that to John.
Oh, no.
Go away. Go to Jacksonville. Enjoy your stint.
No, you don't.
He got paid though.
There's one person in all of football. Well, I can't say in all of football, but there's one quarterback in all of football that can talk down to Johnny. And other than that, everyone else needs to just know your role.
And that's Jeff George.
Exactly, Jeff George. Obviously, it's Tom Brady, 6 Super Bowls. But, dude, unless you've been to 5 Super Bowls or more, all you say to Johnny is, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, guys, we got to take another break. You're listening to JD and the Pro.
Mile High Sports.
Try connect the dots, but it's all making those attacks.
And that's what the Broncos are feeling right now. They're under pressure.
They're
to get it done.
loosey-goosey. They're loosey-goosey, JD.
They're not loosey-goosey.
They're confident as well.
They're not confident.
Oh, yeah.
They're
They're happy
nervous.
campers in camp.
I would
No.
agree with Gary a little bit, Josh. I feel like that the pressure years are behind Denver now. I mean, the pressure was on to win the Super Bowl last year and the year before that, and now there's
Your
not
younger
as big
brother,
of
your
expectation.
younger brother has 2 Super Bowl rings. You have 1. Your career is winding down. You have 1, maybe 2 seasons left. The pressure's on.
This is it.
Pressure is on.
No, man, they got him in a
Your biggest
manic
so-called
position.
your biggest so-called rival has been to 6 Super Bowls. 1 4. Privately talks trash about you to amongst his friends.
See referred text from Tom.
You're telling me that the pressure's not on?
No.
No?
You know what? He figures probably get one this year or next year. If not, he's had a pretty good career, I'd say.
Here's the thing. If he gets one at all, he'll be the oldest quarterback ever to do so.
True that. 39.
It's not happening. It's not in his cards.
Yeah, I beg to differ. That's all.
I
we'll
I
get
won't
one
I
next 2
won't
years.
doubt that he gets us there.
Me either. You say we play Seattle again. That's what I want to see in the Super Bowl.
I would love to see us play Seattle again, but I'll be honest, I don't know that the Seahawks are getting there.
I
mean,
don't think so.
The Seahawks got a lot of work to do. They got to get Cam Chancellor in camp. That's huge. Not having him there. They got to get their locker room situated. They got to get everyone focused on football instead of money. And until they do that, I think they're going to be struggling. I think the pack is going to be hungry. this year. No, I think if the Seahawks get to a third straight Super Bowl, I would be surprised.
They need to work also on their goal line play calling. Last time I checked.
I think they're probably well past that by now.
Hit me up on Twitter, and I'll give you the call. Now, it's funny. If they would be doing what Gary Kubiak is doing, maybe things would be better. Did you see this? Gary Kubiak hiring Mitch. Give me a moment. Let me look at his.
Tamney.
Thank you, Mitch Tanny, director of analytics. And so what Mitch's job is, and I love this, he is to give Gary the statistical probability of success for the plays that he's calling. So let's just say in that moment, again, no timeouts, time of ticking, Mitch Tanny hears the play over the headset, quickly calculates, and tells Pete, hey, don't call that. Or go ahead. I mean, think about it. In that kind of situation, there's nothing. The play's been called. No one's stopping it. You have no timeouts. That's it. That's what you chose. That's what you went with. Now, that's because you're an idiot and you're a bumbling buffoon when it comes to games that are 7 points or less. You can't coach in them. And you allow, and here's the thing. Pete didn't make the call. He doesn't call offensive plays. He allowed that call to be made, though. He wasn't smart enough to say, you know what? No.
He was too busy cheerleading on the sidelines.
He was too busy chomping his gum to death, you know?
I heard Russell audible to it. I don't know if that's true either, but
no,
that's what
that was the play call. That was it. Not only was that it, Belichick had predicted that was going to be it and had his D ready to go. Anyways, he's an idiot for not just saying, you know what, hand the ball to Marshawn. I mean, either we win on him or we don't. Now, if the Patriots stop him, they deserve to be Super Bowl champs. Now, they deserve it anyways. There's in my mind, there's no question who the better team was on that day. And the better team on that day will get their shiny Super Bowl rings come September.
And Josh, don't you have to have a humble coach in order to do what Gary Kubiak is attempting to do? You can't have an ego head that's just not going to listen to the analytics. Is that right? You have to have a coach that, will think about what he's doing and what he wants to do and other opinions. I feel like coaches that are power hungry, this move wouldn't work as well, because someone's going to come in with analytics and you're going to be like, okay, thanks. I'm going to do what I was going to do before that regardless anyways.
Well, I'm a stats guy, but the thing about stats is you can make them say whatever you want. And there are certain situations where stats are important, and there are certain situations where stats don't mean crap. What works one day might not work another day, okay? And what I mean by that is, let's say you're just looking at statistical probabilities of success on running the ball first down. And our boy Mitch is calculating throughout the league, and it's, throughout the league, 20% success. Well, what are these other running backs doing? What's this other offense doing? Are they a Saints-style offense that loves to pass, and then when they actually do run the ball, they can't run it anyway? So, it'll be interesting to see how much this actually plays a part into what Gary does, if it influences him or not, or if he's just keeping track for his own personal records and amusement. But again, when you have 30 seconds or less, and I'll even go, you have less time than that. You have about 15 seconds to get maybe a minute total, but to actually get the play to the offense so they have enough time to get set up and whatnot. You have about 15 seconds time. Now, if you're a smart offensive coordinator or a smart play caller like Gary Kubiak is, you're thinking plays ahead. So you're already knowing what you're going to call well ahead of time, which gives Mitch more time to run his probabilities to get back to you so you have more time to process. But again, we're still talking seconds. It's not a whole lot of time. So I don't know, Gary, what do you think?
I don't know. You think about analytics, it's everywhere now. It's stats, it's numbers. The mathematicians are all over it. I appreciate the tendencies. Go back to TrackMan and golf. That's getting crazy. Butch says his eyes are his TrackMan, his launch monitor, so to speak. He knows where impact should be and where you are, really why you should find a way to get there, even if he traces it back as he should to set up like he does.
You're the only
but there's
person I
tendencies.
know that can bring golf into a football conversation.
Well, it's all analytics now. This TrackMan's a big deal in golf now. It's only a $25,000 unit, and there's a lot of people that are just. I swear there are teachers that are these biomechanic guys. See Chris Como, Tigers guy. Well, what they do is they see. No, I'm not changing the subject to golf necessarily, but it's analytics.
He's trying.
Listen,
He's trying.
Can we stop the?
Let him go with it.
Can we
I
stop
like it.
Can we stop the paralysis through the analysis? I just think yes, if we can help the tendencies, and for our team to call the right plays at the right times, it's not necessarily going to be at that particular moment in time. I think it's going to be, hey, this is what's going on when we're in a similar situation. So
I like that, Gary.
so they're aware of it when it comes up. Hey, guess what? This has a good chance to do well against this team if we're ever in this position. You look at Belichick
But that's what film's for.
in the last play of the Super Bowl. I mean,
That's what game film.
there you go.
And when I think of analytics now, I just think of Charles Barkley.
I'm a dumbass.
No, and he is a dumbass. But no, I do love I give Gary crap, but I do love the analytical portion of it. I think it could go good or bad. But again, we were talking with DT about it and having a caddy, and that was one of the knocks that he had on having a caddy. Is sometimes they want to give you advice when they shouldn't, just let you play when they're trying to tell you, hey, statistical probability says an 8-iron here because of green placement, so on and so forth. All right, we got to take a break. Kyle, great producer, pounding on the glass. Press Box Insider, JD and the Pro.
Mile High Sports.
So, Bronco fans, this one's for you. Silence? Nothing?
You know what they're doing? The producer, Kyle.
This is Gary's Bronco song.
You're not an intern now, right?
It is.
You're a full-fledged producer. Thanks for the song. I guess that was for me, you said.
Yeah, well, I said it was
the
for
Broncos.
you,
for all
and
Bronco
it's
fans.
your Broncos song because
It is.
they build you up every year
And let you down.
and then they let you down.
Okay, I
You
get it.
didn't catch that?
I get it.
All Bronco fans,
Well-
that one was for you.
Last couple of years, they're just tuning up for this year. That's all.
Now,
Get balanced.
God,
They're going to be balanced.
You
this
are
year.
on that juice, Gary.
Oh,
man,
man.
you're
Yes, he's
really
like
a believer.
Hey guys,
he's on that juice.
Oh man.
let me go over this again, Kyle, for you. You probably weren't here last time I spoke about it, but now we got a team that's going to be controlling the ball. We're going to run the ball. We got C.J. Anderson finally is starting at running back. He's going to roll. We got Kubiak, who's a balanced quarterback. Great success as an offensive coordinator. Same page as John Elway.
I mean, I love the idea that they're going with. I just feel kind of like Josh in that it's going to take a couple of years to get the pieces in that you need to in order to be successful. I mean, Gary, you're hoping for a lot to come together in 1 year.
Listen,
Max
that could very
Garcia
well be.
is no Mark Schlereth.
We do have, you know what we do have? We do have Peyton Manning.
We have hope.
We have Wade Phillips and amazing defense. We got C.J. Anderson.
And there's very
An
few.
amazing
got,
defense.
Listen, this offense, this defense has 5 Pro Bowlers, if you hadn't
Let me
noticed.
switch cups
And
with you. Maybe
Shane
that'll
Ray.
change my perspective.
This defense is going to be all world this year.
And
I
you're-
see.
First
no,
off-
listen. I see this defense being top 5 in the NFL, and the offense
How
could
often do you
easily
think Shane Ray's going to be on
do
the
the
field?
same.
Honestly.
But you could actually have both teams in the top 5 in the NFL. That's a pretty good combination.
How often do you think Shane Ray's going to be on the field?
I think
Seriously.
quite a bit if he's producing, and I would think that he could. John
Okay.
and
All
John
right,
went
so
and got him.
who's sitting on the bench when Shane Ray's on the field?
I think they got a pretty good scheme if I know Wade Phillips well enough. I heard Brian Billick today, and I really appreciate the fact he said, hey, nobody better than Wade Phillips. And I agree. That's how I've always believed. And now he's got some weapons.
But
And he is excited. I'm excited
Again.
for this team.
he can only play for linebackers. So who's on the bench when Shane Ray's playing?
Well,
You
they
get-
probably do replacements. They probably do different schemes. They probably give guys rests. But I heard that is from reliable sources at camp. They're going to bring Vaughn, they're going to bring Ware, and they're going to bring Ray all at the same time.
Yeah.
Whoever's sitting down, JD, I don't know, but they've got schemes for this because they want to put some pressure on the quarterback this year.
Are you a little worried about run defense this year, Gare?
Well,
He needs to
that's a
be.
good question, Kyle, because this in the 3-4 defense, you have got to have a great nose tackle. You got to clog the front. Now, it's so much is up to Sylvester Williams, and he hasn't shown us anything. But my understanding is he's rolling in camp. He can move laterally well. He is stronger now. He's got a little more experience now. He's got probably better
You know why
coaching
that is?
now.
Because
Obviously,
he's going up against people like Matt Paderis, and that makes you that makes you look a whole lot better than you are.
That's why we do preseason. We go ahead and
Let's-
gel up.
Let's wait until he's against an All-Pro center, or any center that can block, for that matter. I'm not buying his ability. I'm not buying the fact that Shane Ray, Von Miller, and DeMarcus Ware on the field at the same time will ever be successful. They're 3 outside pass rushers. First off, you only have 2 ends. No, you can't. That's nonsensical to even think that is going to work in any stretch of the imagination in the NFL.
Did you
It's
say
not.
nonsensical?
I did. I said nonsensical.
Holy smokes, man! I was listening to a veteran
That's
coach
comical
the other day.
and nonsense at the
An
same
actual
time. That's
NFL
nonsensical.
coach the other day.
Using
He
my
said-
phrase nonsensical?
No, he said they're going to roll, and they drafted him in the first round for a reason, don't you think? He's going to play a little bit.
They
What are you going to do?
drafted.
Sit down Ware or Vaughn at that time?
They drafted, and that's what they're going to have to do to get
It's
him on the
almo- no,
field.
yeah, it's almost like they're expecting
Gary, if they don't
Ware
sit down
or Vaughn
Ware
to go
or
down.
Miller,
Ware's
exactly,
going to need
Kyle.
some help. Ware needs some help. You saw the last part of the season.
He was a monster for the first half of the season, and then he kind of petered out a little bit
Well,
towards
You
the
know,
end.
now maybe they're going to actually
And now they can't
Let
spell
him
him
rest.
with Ray, which is nice. but
platoon him a little.
Ray is not going to be this dominant force that people think he is. He's going to have significant growing pains, first off, and number 2, he's not going to get a ton of playing time. He really isn't. He is DeMarcus Ware's backup, and trust me, when stuff starts hitting the fan and the game's on, DeMarcus Ware is not going to want to be pulled to give a rookie some reps. It's just, he will spell himself when he feels he has to. And
So
having
what
him
you're
on-
saying, JD?
and
excuse
hold on.
Go ahead.
And the reason we drafted Shane Ray is because he got pulled over and had a joint in his backpack.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Other than that, we wouldn't have had him, where he would have been on a team without a DeMarcus Ware, without a Von Miller, where he would have been expected to come in. That's not
got
not
lucky.
what we expect him to do. We drafted Shane Ray for the future because we know DeMarcus Ware is probably not going to be with us next year. This year, trust me, very little playing time. If he plays more than 150 plays all year, I would be surprised.
Do you think it's safe to say that if he is playing a lot, then Denver is not doing so well? That you don't want him to play a lot if you're Denver. Is that what you're saying, Josh?
If Shane Ray is playing an awful lot, that's because DeMarcus Ware isn't getting the job done. And that is not good for the Denver
Or
Broncos.
they're just resting him a little bit because you got to get Ray on the field as well and rest Ware some because that makes sense. This kid can play. I mean, he was SEC Defensive Player of the Year last year for a reason.
So then,
right?
by that same philosophy, we got to get Lorente McCray on the field and spell Von Miller. Absolutely not. That makes no sense.
Well, I don't know why you brought that up.
Nonsensical.
That didn't make sense, JD. Why'd you say that? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Because you said you have to
Did
bring.
we pick that guy in the first round?
You said we have to bring in Shane Ray to spell DeMarcus Ware.
Well, yeah,
to give
Ware
DeMarcus
showed
the
that he
rest.
got really tired toward the end of the season, didn't
and,
produce.
and Vaughn didn't do the same thing.
No, Vaughn looked pretty pure all season, I thought.
Yeah, getting smoked on the goal line. He looked pure.
You guys
He looked great.
You guys do not enjoy Bronco Kool-Aid one bit.
I was drinking it. I know. I was drinking it 2 to 3 years ago, and then Jacoby Jones got behind us.
Did they let you down?
I'm
I'm sorry,
Oh, yeah, they let me down.
Kyle. Well, you know what? It's football.
I
And,
don't
you know,
drink any Kool-Aid.
In one team wins out of 32.
That is a
they
good
did
point.
2 years ago, go to the Super Bowl, got blown out. When you're one-dimensional offensively, and they shut down everything there, and they put all kind of heat on Manning, that game's pretty much over. Right. Most prolific offense in NFL history scores 8 points. Embarrassing. Well, Seattle scored a lot of points there too, right?
Yep.
We did a lot of things wrong. Elway could not wait, couldn't fire Fox after the Super Bowl.
Because
you
I'm
don't
surprised
do that.
he didn't. Yeah, I'm
no,
surprised
it says
didn't
he
fire
went to the
Fox.
Super Bowl. How can you do that? It
really wasn't his guy.
No, it's politically incorrect, socially incorrect thing to do. But wow, last year there was no question. He's like, "Where you go, John? Let's go ahead and just agree. You got to roll." And then you got Kubiak in here right away. So there's a little balance this year, guys. I'm just positive about where we're going. I think it rolls back to our Super Bowl years. John didn't have to do everything. They had a great running back. They had a solid defense. I think this defense has stronger potential. And CJ, I think he's going to be special. And he's showing it ever since he's been here. And now he's finally getting his chance to go ahead and start. And I think he's going to take advantage of that.
You know, here's the thing. I don't drink Kool-Aid at all. I don't drink anyone's Kool-Aid. I am a realist when it comes to football, and the Broncos have a whole lot of holes. And I know that come training camp, everyone wants to get on the bandwagon, so on and so forth. And I'm going to start, from weeks ago. And I will continue to roll this campaign until they prove me wrong. They have holes. They have issues that need to be addressed. And
Does
they are
every
going
NFL team have holes?
And they're going to be exposed. Glaring holes like the Broncos do?
I don't see glaring holes with the Broncos. The offensive line,
Wow.
offensive line is suspect. Dell with Joe. You guys are talking about holes. This team could be the most well-rounded team in the NFL.
You talk about,
And it could be Swiss cheese.
a top 5 defense. First, they're going to have to prove that they can stop the run without putting 8 men in the box. I don't think they can do that. I think teams like Pittsburgh, teams like Baltimore, I think are going to be able to run rampant on the Broncos.
And you got to be able to match up with the T.Y. Hiltons and the Antonio Browns as well.
Oh, we can't do that with Pro Bowl players.
Talib had trouble with it in the playoffs against T.Y.
If you're Del Rio and you don't put Harris
Pressure.
on him when it just happens time
How
again.
do you know that Wade Phillips is going to do that?
Wade is a different style of coach altogether than Jack Del Rio.
Here's the thing.
Much
Wade,
better defensive
Wade
coordinator.
has never said to a cornerback, "You're on this guy the entire game." It is all going to be where the Colts line him up. That's how it's done. All right, we'll get into more of this on the other side of the break.
That's it.
Oh, that's show.
That's
JD.
it. That's
Oh,
all.
that's the
JD.
show.
You
Holy,
enjoying it?
holy
What?
garbage.
You guys, man,
we
I feel
will
like
get
I
into
took a
this
beating.
tomorrow night. All right, guys, up next is Yahoo Sports. Thank you, Kyle. You're the man. JD and the Pro.
Mile High Sports.